My father was hospitalized when I was a baby, or when I was 2 actually. He struck my mother. They had a bad fight. He like broke her eardrum. It was a bad fight, and she pressed charges. She had to get a divorce. So my father ended up in the hospital for I think for about a month, if not more. He was hospitalized again when I was like 5 years old. I think he had tried to kill himself by ODing on medication. So he was in pretty bad shape when I was a kid. You know, he had hallucinations. He thought he was the Messiah. He thought he was Jesus Christ. You know, anything you can imagine. You know, and he drank at the time too. I didn't understand alcoholism at the time, but like, I wanted him to not drink, you know, because I knew that it was bad for him. But as far as his medications go, you know, I don't know exactly what he took. I know he took lithium. I know he took Prolixin, and he was probably on some other drugs as well for depression or whatnot. I don't know, I can't remember the name of the other drugs, but he was on a pretty big cocktail of drugs. And the problem he had was when he stopped taking them, he wanted to kill himself. You know, he would go crazy, and that's what happened. That's what happened with his second nervous breakdown, was that he stopped taking the meds and he went in the hospital because of it. I had some awareness that my father was different from normal people, basically when I was young, because he was hospitalized. And when I was around 5 years old, I remember asking my mother, am I going to get this disease? You know, he had schizophrenia. And I had to have it kind of explained to me, because I was still young to understand it, but I knew that he wasn't well. And I couldn't see him for a while because they didn't want to bring me to the hospital to see him. But so I had some awareness that I always knew he was eccentric. I didn't know what was really going on, you know, in terms of his real struggles with schizophrenia. It was really rough for him. There was definitely a responsibility for my father that came along with being his son, and that my father wasn't completely normal, had a hard time keeping jobs. He was on medications, heavy medications, which made him sleep a lot. It made it hard for him to show up for work at times, and the drinking didn't help either. He would sleep a lot. That was a big part of the problem with the drugs. You know, he would just sleep for hours and hours, I can remember. But, you know, and I would complain, you know, I don't want to go out to the park and do something, and he'd just want to sleep. So, but yeah, I guess he probably turned to the booze as well as a way to medicate, you know, the illness. I mean, I know the meds helped him, but he still suffered from hallucinations, auditory hallucinations, visual hallucinations, and then, of course, the violent side. But also, they've changed the diagnosis from, well, they haven't changed it, but there's kind of a gray area between bipolar and schizophrenia and schizoaffective disorder. They're like 3 different forms, really of the same illness, but schizophrenia is the most severe.